Obviously, happy to get another win under our belt against a very tough Arkansas team last night, and really pleased with the way that the guys were able to finish the game and the way that we started the game. I thought there was two areas that really stood out for us last night. The way that we started making shots, defending extremely well right there at the end, getting stops, making the necessary free throws down the stretch to secure the victory. Hopeful that on Saturday we're playing a very tough Missouri basketball team who's played extremely well at home, have all their guys back, and looking forward to a tremendous challenge on Saturday afternoon against Missouri there.
How have they changed other than getting Bowers more integrated since you guys played him?
Well, I think that's real key for them is that he will be back with them. I think he's probably chemistry-wise, they're better. He's probably gotten a little bit more integrated with their team and what they're doing and the speed of the game, and I think it helps them.
You guys kind of starting a new tradition with the high-fiving of the students and the fans there after big victories?
Well, I think after may have been the Seton Hall game, if I'm not mistaken, really the energy that I thought that student section it helped extremely well, and wanted to show our appreciation. And went there at that time, and just afterwards, since then, after victories, we've been down on that end of the floor, and that's something that we look forward to.
You kind of touched on this a little bit last night, but how important is it now that your guys not kind of exhale and let up now that they've made some progress and gotten over that 500 hump, that can look at things a little bit differently?
I think their approach and their mindset has really been good. And I think through their excitement, the way that they've played have allowed them to put themselves in this position. And I think that they really enjoy the success that they've had. And I think they have a keen understanding of what they've had to do to get there. And I don't see any let-up at all in them at all. I think they're really excited about plan and the preparation and everything that goes into it, and look forward to challenges.
You guys have done a really good job with turnovers, and last night y'all turned it over more than any game since Georgia. Was that just a product of Arkansas's defense, or was it something y'all did?
They're averaging about anywhere, I think, from 17 to 19. They're forcing people to turn over anywhere from, I think, 17, 19 to 18, 19 times a game. And we just happened to fall into their average last night, and you have to credit them. They create that type of chaos, and one, they did a great job, and we weren't as sharp as we possibly needed to be, like we were in the first half. They threw some of it at us in the first half. We handled it extremely well. I thought in the second half we weren't as sharp as we needed to be, and handling their press defense. And but at the end we were able to make some plays. But I thought a little bit of us, but a lot of them.
How did Charles kind of handle maybe the switch and roll? He'd been starting a little bit. He'd been kind of a consistent starter up until I think you guys went from Mississippi State, and then shifts to the bench with the league coming out. How did he sort of handle that sort of switch and roll there?
It's been good. I think what happens is some of the things that goes unnoticed is we battle through injuries. Guys are generally hurt. Sometimes we have to try and cut guys' practice time back, and then we don't want to put as much pressure on them in some games, and we want to use them in spots that we can. And he went through a rash of injuries where he was a little banged up, and we had to try and cut back his practice time and try to cut back into his game time as well. And that's kind of when that transition period really happened for him. And so he's healthier now than he was before.
Given that he only gets 1 year here, this is his last shot. How do you manage his expectations in that sort of sense, and that sense of urgency, with him maybe to see the floor more? Or, you are trying to hold him back or manage, his minutes and his health in that sort of situation.
Well, I think he understands that this is it for him, and he only have the regular season, conference tournament, and hopeful whatever postseason that we may have. And it's important that he take advantage every second, every play in his preparation and getting ready for that. And the most important thing he understands is it's about his team and what we need to do to get better. And I think he understands when he's at his best or doing the things that he can do best, that we have a much better chance of succeeding as well. But it's not ever about holding back. I think guys play with a little bit of an edge to them as well, and especially seniors. And I think they understand how important it is. And a lot of times your seniors are the ones that are able to give you that extra. But at the same time, we have to make sure that he's available and that he will be able to do that at a high level. So it's up to us to probably guard him against that, because some guys just want to get out there just to have their presence out there. And if they can't do it at a certain level, you can get yourself hurt at this level of play, because guys are just too good for you to go in there and not probably be at your best.
You were talking about his defense last night, not just looking at the offensive numbers. Does that kind of help free up Hickey? I know sometimes he kind of bears that burden on the defensive side. And when did y'all kind of notice that maybe Charles' length would help you more on the defensive side?
I actually knew from when I was at the University of North Texas, he was playing at UNO. He was one of the better defenders on their team at that time. And he's always been a very capable defender, and he's always drew tougher assignments since he's been here as well. And unfortunately for us, you have teams that have certain guys on there that are very capable, and you have to pick and choose who you're going to put where. And we think that we're pretty good on the defensive end of the floor. We think that we have guys that are very capable, but when you have guys that are great offensive scorers like McCray at Tennessee, they have the ability to get to certain areas on the floor because of their size and length, can get up over you. And we had Drew switched out on him, and one time Drew 7-3 shot it over him, and then we had Stringer on him. So we threw a lot of things at him, and he was just able to make plays that night. But Camusha's always drawn tougher defensive assignments for us this year.
Pressey's another guy that's a pretty tough defensive assignment. Phil Pressey, he had a pretty big game here. Does Anthony have to change anything he does? He's obviously a very aggressive defender, but obviously you kind of want to keep him out of the lane.
Well, with Pressey, I thought in the second half he kind of took over the game, played extremely well, and when we had a lead, he was the reason that they got back in it because of some of the plays that he made. As a player, when you have a guy that's that explosive, the only thing you want to do is try and contain him. He's going to score, he's going to make big plays, but you just have to do a great job of just trying to hold limited to some of the things that he's doing.
At the same time, Pressey's taking some criticism for maybe not making plays late in games. Do you notice against you all, he took a pretty quick three early in the shot clock and critical possession thing. Do you notice him pressing at certain moments or maybe pushing the action a little bit too much?
Who's that?
Phil Pressey.
I think he's a great point guard. I think he does an excellent job. I think he's a really good decision maker. I think anytime you put in a position like that, in the burden that you really have an opportunity to carry your team, you have to sometimes step up and make plays, and I think he's one of those guys that look at it that way. He wants to make plays for his team, and unfortunately sometimes people will criticize you for it, but I think he's probably won more games and put him in better positions to win because of his ability to do things that he does in the game.